Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops. A night with 7 NBA games that went a little later than last night. You know, they had the actual 10:30 games instead of the 9 o'clock games, but that's fine because a lot of them were pretty interesting, I'd say. But I want to start us off with the Utah Jazz because I think they're the main topic of the night because this Jazz team doesn't make any sense at all. They beat the Portland Trailblazers this game 122 to 114, and you might say to me, oh, that's only 8 points, whatever, who cares? They beat the Blazers. They were up 30 points heading into the fourth quarter, and I didn't even tell you who they're missing yet. In this game, no Lauri Markkanen, no Jordan Clarkson, no John Collins, and no Keyonte George. That's 4 starter-level players for the Utah Jazz that were not playing, and they were dominating this game. This is after they just upset the Knicks as well in a game that Markkanen played in, but most people didn't expect them to beat the Knicks, but they did. And then they come out in this one, and they just own the Portland Trailblazers pretty much from start to finish. Not quite all the fourth quarter, but a lot of that was because the game was already practically over. I wouldn't say that this was a close game in any respect. This was a Utah Jazz blowout, and it's just a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of role players, a bunch of guys who are going to try hard. They're going to give it their all, and Will Hardy is doing a fantastic coaching job of getting these guys together. But when you're arguably your best performer is Simone Fontecchio, you shouldn't be winning NBA games, but they are. But the Jazz don't make any sense. They just don't. But if we look at their guys in this game who played really well, I won't start us with Fontecchio. I'll start us with Walker Kessler, who, you know, at just a first glance, maybe you say, oh, it wasn't that great. 10 points, 10 rebounds, solid double-double. But the crazy part, 7 blocks for Walker Kessler in this game. Phenomenal. 5 of 6 from the field as well. Super efficient. Not really all that aggressive, but the defensive stuff in this game was huge. And DeAndre Ayton goes 6 for 13 as a center for the Blazers. Largely because of how good Walker Kessler was at defending the post and blocking shots. He was awesome. This is exactly what you want Walker Kessler to be. He's like your new Rudy Gobert. That's what we were saying last season when he was a rookie, and he's continued it this year. He's doing a very good job, and this is probably his best game of the year just because of the block numbers. Every starter for this Jazz team was a plus 17 or better, and 4 out of the 5 were a plus 23 or better. So just a masterclass of performances from this Jazz starting unit. And then we can move to Simone Fontecchio, who I wanted to talk about. 24 points on 7 of 8 shooting, which I think is like 87.5%. Super efficient. 5 of 5 from 3, as well as 5 rebounds in this one, added in a steal as well. And Fontecchio was phenomenal. The Blazers could not guard Fontecchio at all. He's a good shooter. That's what you're going to get from him consistently. But we've seen in multiple games this season that he can be more than just a shooter. He can do some of his own shot creation. He can get to his own spot. He played pretty well for Italy in the World Cup this summer, and like Lauri did with the Euro basket the year before, has carried it into this season. Not to an all-star level like we saw with Markkanen, but Fontecchio has been good for them. And all of a sudden, they've really picked it up with a couple straight wins. 9-16, still not great. It'll be an uphill battle for them to like get into a play-in conversation, but they're looking much more respectable as of late. And a lot of that is also due to the fact that Collin Sexton looks a lot more like his Cleveland self. 27 points in this game, as well as 4 assists, a steal, a couple of rebounds, 11 of 17 from the field. Pretty efficient for Sexton as well. It's about 60%. I believe, somewhere in that range. He was solid. 2 for 5 from 3, and Sexton had the worst plus minus of the starters, but a plus 17 ain't bad. You're going to take that on any day. And Sexton is bringing the intensity that they thought they could get when they traded for him. A lot of people forget it, but he was kind of initially initially believed to be the centerpiece of that Donovan Mitchell trade, because he had already averaged 20 points a game in Cleveland. But, you know, obviously Lauri blossomed into an all-star, but Sexton, after that meniscus tear, is starting to look more like his normal self again. And Talen Horton-Tucker has been really solid all around this year. I believe he's still only 23 years old as well, is a lot younger than people think, but 23 points, 4 steals, 4 assists in this one, and a plus 31 was the best of any player in the game, and had a very, very obvious, impressive impact on this game. And he did a lot of the defensive work on Anfernee Simons, which was also huge for them, because Anfernee Simons goes 3 of 8 for 9 points. Simons for the Blazers over the past few games had been phenomenal, putting up 30 pieces left and right, looked like an all-star level talent, but he just gets shut down completely in this game, and a lot of the credit for that should go to Horton-Tucker. They also get 16 from Ochai Agbaji off the bench, and in one of the better games of this young rookie's career so far, Taylor Hendricks, 10 points, 7 rebounds, and a steal. 4 for 9 shooting is fine. Not great, but it's fine. And the Jazz overall really impressed me in this one, and it just doesn't make sense that they should be winning games like this, but they are. They also beat the Pelicans without Lauri Markkanen twice, so when they have this kind of non-star unit, when it's all these role guys, it's worked really well for Utah, and I think it deserves more attention, because people aren't really paying attention to the Jazz right now. I mean, they're well below 500, that's a big reason for that, but this group of just role players that are doing it together has been super impressive for this Jazz team. But now let's shoot around the NBA, look at different outcomes, and try to get an idea of what happened on this night of NBA basketball. So in other action, we did have 6 other games on this night, a couple of early games, and then most of them were later starts. But the Celtics open up the night with a victory over the Cavs, 116-107, behind 27 points from Jason Tatum, and they move to, I believe it's tied for the league best, because another team I'll talk about in a minute also won on this day. But the Celtics moved to 18-5 on the season now. They've been great. The Cavs without Evan Mobley just aren't quite the same team. Can't really keep up with the Celtics, and this one felt like, despite it only being a 9-point victory, it felt like the Celtics had control of this game for pretty much the entire of the entirety of the game. The Bulls beat the Heat and won what I would say is the biggest upset of the day, 124-116. Continued to be kind of more impressive without Zach LaVine. Kobe White kept it up once again. He had over 20 points and I believe over 10 assists. I'll pull up the box just to be sure, but Kobe White was impressive in this one. 26 points and 11 assists for Kobe White, who kind of looks like a star level guard since Zach LaVine went down with that injury. And if I had to guess, I'd say Zach LaVine probably has played his last game as a Bull. The Bulls open up a 25-point lead in the first quarter in this game, and the Heat bring it all the way back to like down 4 or down 2, but Chicago ends up holding in the fourth and like maintaining control, and they're able to win this one thanks to impressive performances from Kobe White, Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, and Ayo Dosunmu, who had a couple big shots down the stretch and also had over 20 points. I'm sure he saw all this stuff about the cardio jokes in the last game where he played 26 minutes with no recorded stats. He wasn't going to let that happen again, and Dosunmu was really good in this one. And what would probably be called the game of the day heading in, the Timberwolves face off with the Mavs, and the T-Wolves come out on top, 119-101 to move to 18-5 on the year. But Luka Doncic was phenomenal for the Mavs despite the loss, 39 points, 13 assists, and 6 rebounds. Since the birth of his child, Luka Doncic is averaging like 36 points and 12 assists. He's been awesome in the month of December so far, and it's just really, really difficult to stop right now. For the T-Wolves, the real star big man, Naz Reid, with 27 points and 6 rebounds. The Nuggets beat the Nets 124-101. Jokic looks more like his normal self again, 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists, and the Nuggets move to 17-9. A game that went down to the wire between two really good young teams. The Kings beat the Thunder 128-123. Both Fox and SGA go for over 40 points apiece, and the Kings win it I'd say a lot of it was because Chet Holmgren wasn't great in this game, and the Kings got a really solid performance from Keon Ellis, who was big for them in this one. And then the last one, there's still a game going on. The Clippers are up 8 points with a minute and a half to go against the Warriors. Unless something catastrophic happens, I think it's pretty clear that the Clippers are going to win that one, and they'll go to 14-10 on the season. Really great turnaround from the Clippers, who really struggled after Harden first got there, but have seemed to really figure out the rotations and what they want to do, and it's been really good as of late. The Warriors have 30 points from Klay Thompson in what would be his best game so far this season, and arguably the best game of any Steph Curry teammate this season, which they really needed. They went younger in this game, started Pajimski and Jonathan Kuminga. Draymond Green is out, so that's part of that, but Wiggins went to the bench as well, and it didn't look awful for them, but the Clippers still come out on top. But now, as I always want to do, let's get into the last segment of the night, which is the top 5 players according to the Real Sports app. I want to do this just to get an idea of who the great players were on any given night, and just shout out really impressive performances. Let's just start off with number 1, which is Luka Doncic, with 39 points, 13 assists, and 6 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox comes in at 2 with 41 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. James Harden at number 3 with 28 points, 15 assists, and 4 blocks, which is crazy for Harden. SGA at number 4 with 43 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. And then it's Kobe White rounding out the top 5 with 26 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds for the Bulls. But that'll do it for this night in the NBA. Another night in the NBA. Thanks for watching. Think about subscribing. I'm on the road to 12,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy the daily recaps, think about sticking around and watching some more of them. But that'll be it for me. So once again, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.